Okay, I think we're doing it. Yeah, welcome to it, the Make a Move show. All right, let's kick it off with something we wanted to show y'all. Press play when you're ready, brother.
Because for me personally, I don't respect a man until he's married. Like a man does not earn my respect until he's married and faithful. Like he could bench press 500. He can make $1 million a week. He can have a jet. He can have houses around the world. A man does not have my respect. He will have my kindness. He will have, my love as a brother, as a man, but he won't have my respect and admiration until he can be married and faithful.
So is that the highest level of a man?
It's the highest level of a man.
And faithful in particular.
Faithful, because anybody could be married. That's a piece of paper. See, real marriage is a covenant, because when we had marriage with God, we didn't have a courthouse. We didn't have a piece of paper. We have a covenant. So the piece of paper does not mean anything. And I remember my dad telling me that. He was like, listen, if you think that piece of paper going to change something, it's not. And we have to have a covenant. And this is what you'll notice when you look around. And this is why I was telling y'all, with a lot of podcasts that won't bring me on, they won't bring me on because they know from my message what I stand on. And they don't want their wives or their girlfriends to see that this is a level of living that's capable. And I'm settling when Cherie Gaskins has this mindset, and you around here talking to me like crap, and you around here talking about I got to give you a hall pass and every man cheats and all of this. So they don't want to expose their woman who's in the darkness to men who speak in the light, who's showing the light. And so because of that, you'll notice most black men and men in general choose business and motivation over relationships, because it's easier to talk about making money than it is to talk about being faithful to one woman and loving one woman purely. Because what I have come to realize, the hardest thing for a man to do, and guys always capping in the comments when I say this, but they're not really living it, because I'm living it. The hardest thing for a man to do is be faithful to one woman. And what I mean by being faithful is not just about not having sex, but I also mean by cultivating her heart and mind, by speaking life into her, by understanding that his greatest strength is his gentleness, by not talking down to her, by not dictating and controlling and trying to silence her and make her. What men are looking for today are robots.
I can't do it no more. Okay, I can't. God damn.
But you know what? I don't want to. Before we get into what's up?
I've had enough.
So before we dig into the things that we didn't like, my thing is this: no matter what the topic is, if I can't talk positively about it, I shouldn't be talking negatively about it. And I think he's onto something. I think he certainly has an understanding that anyone can do all these fantastic things. You can get the cars, you can get the money, you can even get the girls, you can get the property, you can get the awards, all the recognition of the world. That's easy to do, quote unquote, easy to do, in comparison to actually connecting with people and inspiring and motivating them to be their best selves.
So you don't think that was a projection, that whole thing?
No, absolutely. No, he's playing. No, what I'm saying is, before we get into all of that,
that shit was pure beta male talk. Like, that was high level beta male simp talk. You don't worship no damn woman.
And that's what, before I even get to that, what I'm saying is he has a point that when I'm looking at men, I look at their relationship with women. I don't care if it's one woman or 17 women. I'm looking at whether or not he can be himself around those women without being influenced by those women. And this guy, because that's what it says in the Bible, because he's talking about going to the scripture. That's what the Bible says. Like, Adam's mistake on the first page of the book is that he listened to his wife instead of listening to himself and to God. So here you have this guy saying, no, you got to focus your entire life around the woman.
Yeah. So
he didn't read the book.
On my podcast, I chopped that up. I could replay it if you want, and I'll pause it. But he has no understanding. I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know him, but it's high level pandering. It feels like Derrick Jackson all over again. It feels like all of that. Because
Who
you
is
can't
this
sit
kid?
up here and tell me you have respect. You only have respect until a man is married. To a man is married. That's the easiest thing.
Again, I have respect for men well before marriage, but ultimately, the thing that makes me determine whether or not I'm going to treat you as a brother, it's how you handle the woman in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wouldn't take it that far.
So we all use women as a litmus test or some type of.
Yeah.
I can tell a lot by a man by how he handles his women, right?
Exactly.
And if you're telling me you don't have respect for a man unless he married, that's kind of weird. Second, I don't know your intent behind it. I got to do some more research, but he has a big following. Of course, mostly women, and I talked to this junk about to my girl before, and she was just like, I like what he's saying. Of course you like what he's saying. He's telling men to be monogamous.
Be monogamous and to worship you.
Yes. Your whole calling in life is about, that's the most important part. It's not, I don't, talking about women is easy. Keeping you focused on your goal and on your purpose, which is going to bring you money in business. When you on your purpose for real, it's going to involve money in business. It has to be, right? Even this, what we doing, this is business, right? So at the end of the day, he's just projecting onto us what is hard for him. It's hard for him to stay faithful to a woman.
Ooh, there might be something to that. I don't know this guy. My thing is,
to be honest with you,
what's up?
You supposed to put God first. You stay faithful to God, right? So if the Most High leads you in a path where, hey, all you need right now in your life is to be intimate with one woman, and you focus on your purpose, that's what you do. And it even say in the Bible, you could take as many wives as you want, but you got to remember moderation of all things.
Yeah.
I literally could sit up here and like a lot of men will tell you, yeah, we can have more. I can have more than one chick, but that's a headache. I could get even with the whole thing, but I'm big on semen retention and just not sharing my energy with everybody, every woman. So a woman could look good, but if she doesn't benefit my purpose or she can't add value to my life, I don't have to seek a reason to be intimate with her. So just like my father used to tell me, like, how do you stay faithful? He was like, you don't stay faithful. You stay faithful to God. You stay faithful to the Most High. You stay faithful to your goals, your purpose. And that's what's going to help you stay what we call quote unquote monogamous.
Absolutely.
I done had enough. I don't know about these other guys. I done had enough. I done did everything I wanted to do with these women, 2, 3 at a time. Like, I'm not trying to brag. Laid up. I know what it feels like. Trust me. I'm not missing
No,
that.
certainly not.
So when it comes to being the most alpha version of yourself, it probably doesn't, for alphacology, right? It probably doesn't involve 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 women. It doesn't involve that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like being able to walk in the candy store and use just enough the candy you want, and you ain't got to grab everything. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You eat too much. You eat too much candy, you get a toothache. You get a stomach ache. You deal with too much women. That's what's going to happen.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's the understanding that every man has to know what you know about yourself. They have to know that about themselves, know what their exact number is. For some guys, it actually is the number one. For others, like you and myself, that might change. I know with me, when I'm thinking about the women that I want in my life, I'm thinking about my children. I'm thinking about my grandchildren. And the smoothest way to build my tribe. And it's like, oh, you know what? I should have more than one partner to help me get as many kids as possible, as smoothly as possible, without any of them having, any of the ladies having any issues with their health and their child rearing abilities. I don't know who this guy is. I can't speak to him. I don't know if he's being ignorant or intentionally malicious. Either way, it isn't useful. I think it does more harm. And of course, a lot of people are going to like it. A lot of women are going to like it. A lot of men that behave like women are going to like it.
He behaves like a.
It doesn't make. What's up?
I said I want to say he behaves like a woman, but he could be doing all this to get his paper right, his following up.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the people that are listening to him. It's going to be guys that behave like women,
but
that want women's respect.
When he said they don't want me to on their podcast and all that, I just felt like, of course I don't want you on your pod, you know, dry hating, dry snitching, dirty macking, because he was doing a lot of dirty macking. Oh, I treat my wife the best. How you know that?
He does it.
It's
just something that guys say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They don't want me on there. Like, bro, don't call us out like that before we expose you. But either way it goes, that was just a great little snippet that I wanted to show and want you guys to hear that. Like, it's cats out there that, hey, really think like this, or really move like this. The only guy, you know who I could compare that guy to right now?
You said Derek Jackson before. Who you think?
Derek Jackson, but also Will Smith.
Oh, all right, go for it.
Right, because Will, you know, so-called allegedly faithful to his wife, but won't leave his wife. His wife does everything to embarrass him, and he's still there.
Yeah, he's
still holding on. He won't go sign them papers. And I'm like, bro.
At the very least, he has a high tolerance for discomfort. There's a story there. I just don't know what the story is, and I can't speculate.
But what you think is a story there? You know how we do
it. Might be as simple as he's just a committed man.
Yeah.
It could be that simple. He won't end at things until his wife initiates the end.
Right. So time tells the whole truth. We already know it. The same thing with this guy. His name is I think it's Tony Gaskins or something. I didn't even get a chance to play around on his TikTok. I'm pretty sure I can make a hell of a lot of content, because I always call them popular beta males. And ain't nothing wrong with being a beta male, dog. Just don't try to shame us for being alpha males, because we could do the same thing. I feel offended because you say you don't have respect for me as a man until I'm married and faithful to my wife. That is a new one. I never heard that. So yeah, he's trying to gain more women followers. Like,
yeah, he's definitely in his lane. He knows how he's playing this. What's interesting is that
he chose his lane.
What's up?
I say he chose his lane.
He chose his lane. The more that I'm thinking about what he said, it's so what I said before is like, I think it's in today's light, it is hard to have a healthy relationship with women. So I do put that up there in terms of respect on men who can do it. The other side of it is that the easiest thing to do is have a good relationship with a woman. So even though I put it up high in the context of most men don't do it, I put it low in the general context of all the things we should be doing as men. And I hope that makes sense. So, like, even though I said at the beginning,
give me an example. I need a visual.
So before I gave the list about like all the things that you can do in your life as a man, like you can get the cars, you can get the money, you can get the houses, you can travel, you can speak many different languages, you can have political status, you can have social status, you can have recognition and awards. I think that stuff is easy. I think it's not easy, but it's simple enough to get. I think it's more exciting to approach, and I think it's more important than a woman. It's more important than anything that you will ever do with a woman. In fact, the reason you do all those things is to provide for the woman that you choose. But fundamentally, you can't rise to those high ranks if you don't have a healthy mindset about women in the first place, because they're going to limit how far you can go if you don't have it on under control, if you don't have it on lock. So I do value the idea that, all right, the average man can't do this and you have a healthy relationship, kudos to you, but I don't see it as a big enough deal that I got to give you the highest respect when you haven't done anything else with your life beyond that.
I get it.
For me, it's entry level. Because that's how I connected with you. That's how I connected with Ye. That's how I connected with all the solid guys in my life. Have no issues with women. Unless they create their own, or no, I'm not even gonna say that. They just don't have any issues with women. Meaning, I feel safe enough to leave my woman in your presence, knowing there will never be an issue that you and I got to fight over later on. Because you got yours, I got mine. There are guys who don't have a healthy relationship with women. So if they're around my girl or if they're around your girl, they're going to make a move because they're desperate. They have no way to get action unless they do whatever little tiny parasitic activity to get someone else's girl. And that's the weakness. You should have learned this all in your teenage years. You should have gotten over it. You should have gotten over pussy. You should have gotten over sex. You should have gotten over wanting attention from women in such a low level way. But when I'm talking about dating, I'm not talking about, oh, she touched my pee-pee, I'm fantastic now. No, I'm talking about, hey, if I say jump, she jumps.
Wow.
If I say, hey, we got to run right now, we run. If I get into a fight, she doesn't get in the middle of it.
Exactly.
Most guys don't have that. Most guys can't even say, hey, can you scratch my back? Literally scratch my back. I have an itch. Most guys don't have that kind of relationship. And so I recognize that, yeah, that is, unfortunately, even though it's such a low standard in my book, it is impressive, quote unquote, impressive when I do see it, because I'm like, oh, wow, I've seen 1,000 guys this week, and you're the only one that was able to get respect from your girl. Oh, man. It's a rarity.
I don't even find women attractive who ain't got the respect I need for them. I don't even know.
You and I operate that way, but most guys are okay with a little disrespect. And it's funny because we were talking about being equally yoked before we came onto the stage. And that's what this is about. The number one thing I'm telling guys, again, I don't even do the dating coaching thing, but it's the topic that everyone talks about. And I said, if you want to have a simple life with your girl, only date women that want to date you. And everyone's like, no, Knox, that's not how it's played. That's not how you do it. You got to find any girl that you're attracted to and convince her to like you. Their words, not mine. I got to persuade her. I got to be impressive. I got to make her laugh. She's going to be, what is she going to? She's going to be like Pepe Le Pew. She's going to be hard to get, but I got to break down all of her shields and all of her manipulative games to get her to like me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's how psychos think. And the way I like to live life is that if I don't want it repeated in court, I shouldn't say it in the first place. You're telling me that when you get in the courtroom and she says, oh, he brainwashed me into liking her, you're going to say you feel comfortable having them read back what you just told me, that you manipulated her into liking you, that you convinced her, that you persuaded her, that you harassed her. This is what they're going to read out in court. And they don't get it. They don't get it. Yeah, man. But that's where we are. And you got to be with people that want to be with you. And this isn't just about women. This is about all relationships. Me and you are together because we have similar values. I was getting ready for bed. I was ready for bed. I was chilling with my girl. We were in the bed. We popped on a movie, one of my favorites, watching Whiplash. And I'm on my phone wrapping up the details of the day, creating some content for tomorrow morning that I want to go live. And then you hit me out of the blue and you said something about podcasts. Oh, that's all it was. It was podcast ? And because you said it, my rule is if you or me brings it up, we have to do it. That's the rule. We have to go live whenever one of us proposes it. There's 3 of us in this. If anyone says anything podcast, as long as I got the next 3 hours available, I have to say yes. I didn't tell you that. I just said, all right, cool, we got to do it. Let's go. Within 15 minutes.
I meant to say it earlier, but I was actually working on my podcast, and I finally started a TikTok and all that stuff. I gotta put my best foot forward. Now that I know how these things go, I gotta stop being lazy online.
Yeah, and we both got to do it. That's why I have that rule. That's why I have that unspoken rule that is now spoken. But that's it. Like, because I don't want my laziness to be fed, I say yes, even when it means that I gotta go to bed a little bit later. Even though I got a charity event in the morning, I'm still here. And that's what I mean. Like, we are equally yoked. If the work is there to be done, we will do it. We don't have to sit down and talk about it. I don't have to say, oh, I'd rather do it tomorrow after work, blah, blah, blah. No. If I was working with someone else and we weren't on the same page, it would be that conversation, which means we shouldn't be together. And that's just a small example. We all need that. We need people that we don't. It's almost like we have telepathy. We move without talking. We just commit to action all the time. And it's funny, and I say this about you, and on the other side, I'm here with my girl. I didn't even tell her that we had a podcast. I just got up, and she knew, oh, it's time to get to work. So she's like, all right, she's preparing things for me. She's moving things around. She got me some water. And
at the same time, I'm still going over through this TikTok right now, and I'm like, yo, we're going to have some good stuff to go on, right? So...
But that's the equally yoked environment, is that you and I are always moving, always making moves, always working, always doing something, even when it's inconvenient.
Always. So always trying to find a way to improve myself, improve my content, keep my content consistent.
Yeah.
And I still want to put a personal twist on it. I see where I can't do it one, like, boom, drop it over here, and it could just move all over there. I actually have a young lady that is helping me do some stuff. And
yeah, you too. Amazing, I'm hiring my first people this week.
Right.
It doesn't feel comfortable, but I'm doing it.
You got to do that, man. Like, you got to hit all platforms, and then you just got to keep it consistent. So I noticed I was playing around with my thing. Every time I post, I get at least 10 more listens, 10 more views to the podcast. So I started posting more, but I still don't post enough. So what I'm going to do is remind myself. If I give myself some reminders, all right, I'm going to tweet for 10 minutes, and then boom, I'm going to tweet about my podcast. Little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to grow. It's going to be out there. I still love it, but I still want it consistent too. That's what you know me for.
Yeah.
Right? And I never had a problem, and I tell these guys all the time, you like attention from women. I never had a problem getting women's attention. And bro, I'm not going to hold you. It's annoying getting attention from women. That don't mean nothing unless you know how to make money off of it. So
that's what this is an attention economy, and people still don't understand that.
I did have a little talk with my dad. He was like, hey, man, yeah, I know you like the alphacology, but hey, man, make sure you include the women in that. You can still talk about what you need to do. And I'm like, I used to think I couldn't. Now I can. Now I can. I just tell him, hey, this is what you need to be doing. This is what he need to be doing. And leave it at that. I'm not going to sit up here and say, I don't respect men if you ain't faithful to your wife. I don't know what you got going on.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your relationship is your relationship. But I know all men, when I say this, you have to be able to put the candy down.
Absolutely. And women appreciate that too.
They eat you some protein so you can build your body up.
I'm going through that process now. It's not an easy
All sugar does is break your body down, right? All alcohol does, break your body down. Too much of that stuff, you're dead. Same thing with women. All you're doing is getting her sugar. You still got to start getting her protein. It's a little bit different.
A woman put this very well, because here's the thing. There's the things that women say and the things that they actually positively respond to. And they're not necessarily the same. So the lady put it like this: that has a twinkle in his eye. But I don't want to be the twinkle in his eye.
Ooh,
whether or not women will
ooh.
exactly.
I gotta use that one.
So this was like what, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But it was one of those moments where it just makes you aware of what really matters. So even though she's one of the few women that will say it out loud, not every woman can put words to it, but she could. It's a universal sentiment. So those of us that have women in our life, there's nothing that turns them on than the work that we're doing outside of our relationship. And then we come home, we come to them, and we share that energy with them, and it just blows their mind. It's the greatest aphrodisiac there is.
You know what?
What's up?
I was dealing with a chick one time. I asked her, why you trust me so much? Right? She's like, it's just easy because you're just so consistent at what you do.
Mm.
When I drop you off, she used to drop me off, and I used to go lift weights and do my football workouts. If you run over time, you're still there. I know where you are, and you're still working, and I love that. You let nothing stop you. And I was too young to realize it. Now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, that's what they like. Somebody who focused.
That's all.
I don't know what they see stability in it. So I always tell me, hey, you dealing with a woman, man? I do this women the same way.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a woman, right? So check this out. You might not know this. They might not even know this. But if you say, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z this week, and you don't do X, Y, and Z subconsciously,
yup,
it's noted.
Yup. That's why you just there's no room for mistakes.
Yeah,
it is a never-ending ride.
One thing about a woman, she gonna let you know when you slacking.
Mm.
When you capping. You can't, especially the more you have her around you, the more she gonna let you know if you on point or you not on point. So that's a beautiful thing about being with a woman, right? She'll let you know when you're on point and when you're not. But you gotta also, it doesn't work like that if you guys aren't equally yoked. It doesn't work like that at all. It starts to become competition between the two. Who knows what more? Every woman I ever dealt with who I wasn't equally yoked to, it was always a disaster. Yeah. It started out perfect. It was dedicated to my progress. And then toward the end, it got scary. And sometimes that's my fault. You get what I'm saying? But hey, once I see it's no more use for you, then I move on. If I don't move on, that's when I become a what? A beta male, a simp. I know this woman not good for me. We're not equally yoked. We don't have the same mindset. We don't have the same views. She don't believe in what I'm doing. I don't believe in what she could do for me. It's over with.
Yeah.
A lot of guys stay because that word LOVE, love. We're in love. Stop being in love. I told y'all this all the time. Love is like this wine glass, right? The wine would be you. So you pour yourself into the love glass right here, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're in love. You're in it. So whatever love does, you got to go with it. If it go like this, you got to go with it. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be the glass. You want to be this, the hand that controls the love. When a woman in love with you, good. Now she's under your spell, under your control, under your direction, your leadership.
I appreciate that. That's a great image.
Make sure she's in love. Don't you be in love. You stand in love. That's what we're doing over here.
And that's the thing.
There's still we ain't in love. We stand in love.
There are a lot of people that think men and women are the same and that we enter into relationships and we stay in them for the same reason. And because of that, they think, oh, if she's in love, I'm allowed to be in love. And it means the same exact thing. And it certainly doesn't. That's a very good point. I want to go back to that other point about the focus thing. If you are dedicated to making your girl happy, you're not focused. You're focused on her, but you're not focused on what matters. Because if you genuinely care,
one more time.
If you're focused on your girl, you're not really focused. That's not what true focus is. You don't focus on any one person.
Hold up. If you're not, I'm sorry. Can I write some note down?
Yeah, go for it. What did I say? If you're focused on your girl, you're not really focused.
If you are focused,
or you're not really focused on the right things. However you want to frame it. I can only slow it down so much. But here's what it is: the idea that. So how it should be is that if you really care about your girl, you have to be your best self to provide for her. And if you're not willing to do that work in other areas of your life, your spirituality, your physical and mental health, your social world, your maybe even the other women that you have in your life, your family, your finances, if you really care about your girl, you have to address all of those first. Of course, under God, yeah, but it's all the work that you're doing in all those areas. So that way, when you finally get to your girl, she has the best of you. Because your friends and family are pouring into you to make sure that you're the man that you're meant to be. Or even the woman. This isn't necessarily a gender thing. And you get to be your best self because you've gone into the world, you've tackled it, you spent time with your friends and family, they poured into you, and then you went back to your girl. When you start playing around in other ways and putting your girl first, that means the rest of the world doesn't get the attention from you that it deserves. And that's when you get a lot of guys. It's funny because when you talk about abuse, when you talk about abusive relationships, something that they often cite is that in every single abusive relationship, the person that's being abused is isolated from all the people and things that matter. A lot of guys are in abusive relationships and they're the ones abusing themselves. They're isolating themselves from their friends and family because they're so focused on the woman instead of on the full and rich life that they have or could have. And that's what the focus is. The focus isn't on the woman. The focus is on the life that includes the woman. And that's where my work comes in because I have to deal with guys that are dealing with depression. They're dealing with anxiety. And the one thing they have in common is...
know when a woman is abusing them, though.
But that's what I'm saying. The woman isn't abusing him.
So conditioned, because this is what we say with abuse. Oh, the woman getting beat on, somebody getting punched, it's physically violent. And women don't really do that as much as the men would do it, right? Mm-hmm. And if they do it, they still don't go. You don't go to police. It ain't all that yada yada yada. I always said that police tool is just another way for women to control men who's out of control, right? Or control men that want to control, right? Yeah. So with that being said, because like I said before, I done been in situations where a young lady begging me to hit her. Why are you begging me to hit you? Go ahead, hit me. Why? So then I go to jail and you bail me out and now you got me by the balls for the next year or two. I ain't got time for that, right? So that's how that legal system play out here in America. But they still don't do it like that. They'll do what I would call the mental abuse. Okay. You know, the gaslighting, the lying to you. Yeah. And you know they lying. The argument, the petty arguments, the slick talk, the complaining, the nagging. That's all abuse too. Because you put yourself through it.
What I'm saying before it even gets to that point, that the man is abusing himself by making himself a victim because he's only focusing on the woman in his life instead of everything that he should be focused on in his life. The woman is only one of 7 parts of your life. 1 out of 7. I don't know what the quick math is on that, but that's less than 10%.
It definitely is.
But so you are abusing yourself by focusing your life around women. And again, this is the first 3 pages of the Bible. The guy was quoting the Bible and misquoting it at the same time, and he's trying to tell people
And
that.
that's why I take offense to that, because don't use the Bible for your bullshit.
Hey, Jesus said it himself.
That.
People are gonna do that.
I know, but don't, man. You got to call that out. Like, I can't call a lot of stuff out because that's just not my lane. But
that's why it's so funny to me, because you and I, we don't have to do a whole Bible lesson on it. It's in the first 3 pages, brother.
Yeah.
It says, Adam don't do this shit. Don't do this.
Adam made Eve his God, and it got him nowhere. Yep. Worshipping women will never get you nowhere. You're a woman worshiper, I could strongly say I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I would take a cheating husband over a woman worshiper any day.
Damn, that's real.
Any day.
That's legitimate. Day. That's legitimate for so many different reasons that I won't get into here, but that is a legitimate safe route to go.
And and they think it's so cool and so popular, but it don't get them nowhere. You're a woman worshiper. It don't get you nowhere. It don't get you nowhere. They're even designed to be dominant. Women are designed to be dominated. You're literally, like, to even have sex with them, it's an act of dominance. You have to penetrate them.
Yeah.
It's an act of dominance.
No, absolutely. You change their life forever.
If you're dealing with a woman who want to dominate you in the bedroom, you're dealing with a woman who has some type of trauma. That's it. Trust me, I dealt with enough women to know these aren't good things, and any woman that has trauma will not be equally yoked to you at all unless you have that same equal trauma. I do believe messed up people need to be with messed up people.
Yeah, it's the only people that they deserve to be around.
Yeah, that's the only people they deserve to be around.
I mean, that's why you don't want to date that woman that had that crazy ex-boyfriend. There's nothing you will ever do that will satisfy her.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but like that's really how it is. You see plenty of these women, they're married, they have kids and all that. They're in a better place, but they're dissatisfied with their life. And it's because they're always, the excitement of their past relationship dictates how happy they can be in future relationships, how fulfilled they can be. But that's a good point about the trauma thing. One of the things that I tell people, I mean, we talk about the 5 F's, and one of the 5 F's is the woman functional. And again, this is not a gender thing. This applies to men too. Like, functional people need to hang out with functional people. Dysfunctional hang out with dysfunctional people. And here's what I'm going to point out, which is when I say that, people get confused. That means like everyone's just going to be separated. What if you're trying to get help? If you're trying to get help, you are technically functional. You know something is wrong and you don't want to live that life anymore. So you are making positive steps to get to the other side. I consider that functional. The dysfunction is when you either know or you don't know that you have a problem and you're doing nothing to do with it. Because at that point, you are what I call a broken human being. You are literally broken because you're not acting the way that you should be acting. And so you got to be functional. And the simple sign of someone who is functional is that they live in the present. They only talk about things in the present. They're not worried about the future. They're not concerned about the past. They're not regretful about the past. Yes, don't get me wrong. They may have a regret here or there, but they don't tell you every single day about it. They don't tell you about their ex every single day about it. They don't tell you about how many times they fucked up in the past. They said, hey, today is a new day, and today this is what I did. And they can even laugh at themselves for all the mistakes that they made today. They're not caught up in, oh, my mom did this, so I got to carry that weight with me forever. My brother did this, so I got to carry that weight with me forever. No, you're in a new chapter. All of that is irrelevant.
Damn, boy, you cooking.
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a good day. I've had a lot to say. At the same time, I'm just getting more energy, push-up power, as it were.
That's good. That's good, man. I hit the gym today. You know, stay focused on my goals, and now I'm here. That's all I had to get that off my chest. I took some notes. I took a picture of him too.
What's the name of this guy?
You had some good gyms in here, man.
Yeah, no, this was a beautiful episode. Nice and short too. I appreciate that. Like I said, I got
no problem, man. Now I can go to sleep without.
Oh, wait. Before you leave, what was the name of that guy that we started the show with? Does he have
Tony
a name?
Gaskins.
Tony Gaspin? Oh, he sounds like a Derek Jackson. That just rhymes with Derek Jackson.
Yeah, Derek Jackson, Tony Gaskins. Let me see if I can
You
pull
can't
up.
make this shit up. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna give out some free haircuts. So I'm really excited. The number one reason I became a barber was to give back to the community that has given me so much. And tomorrow is the first day that I finally get to take what I've learned and actually help out people for free, of course. And I'm looking forward to it. But I'm glad I also got to do this episode because I'm like, I wanted to get a nice night of sleep, but it's great to have this, talk this out, learn something new, and even share something positive with our brothers and sisters that are watching.
Right. Yep, he even do the whole car thing with, yeah. Gotta watch this guy.
Yo, send me the link. But yeah, he sounds like someone we'll definitely be talking about more and more often, and we'll bring truth to power. I don't think he's in a powerful position. Don't get me wrong. But
Nah,
at the same
man,
time,
I just look at a young brother making his way with his own perspective that goes against the grain of what he think. I don't think it goes against the grain. I think what we do is go against the grain.
yeah, it's a weird world when what we do is
when you got a bunch of women following you, man. You want some beta males, especially these women. No.
Yeah, that's a real thing. But that gets to a man's head easily.
You on your beta male energy tip real quick, but that's all right, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Iron sharpen iron, right?
You got to be iron to sharpen
iron.
You got to be made of iron to sharpen iron, though. That's the thing.
That is not the hard. The hardest thing is never gonna be being faithful to a woman. That's easy. If she's
You're faithful to God.
If she's worth the faithfulness, it's going to be easy, fellas. If she's worth it. If she's worth the monogamy, it will be easy.
But I don't even like using that term.
It will be the hardest thing you're doing, just like Tony Gaskins doing. He's doing
but
the hardest
brother,
thing.
I don't even like the term because you are meant to be faithful to God and God alone.
Faithful to God and God only.
And God has severely punished any man that was faithful to a woman, because he says if you follow that woman, you're going to follow her idols, worship her gods. You're not going to worship me. And because of that,
and that's what happened with
say it.
I think King Solomon, he had all those wives.
700 wives. He had so many wives.
He was fine with the wives. God was like, I'm cool with that. But once he started following them, he was like,
exactly. He was putting their gods inside of his temple. And God's like, whoa, this ain't part of the code. This ain't part of the commandments. What part of the game is this?
Hey, man.
So it's right there. The same scripture he does.
Same thing with what's his name? Samson and Delilah, all of that.
Samson and Delilah, another one.
Man,
this is Taylor's oldest time. But my thing is, if you haven't read the scripture, you shouldn't talk about it because it is so easy to correct this man. I think we're going to see him more often. Maybe one day he'll even make it to the show, or maybe we'll be live on stage with him. But essentially, this is someone that before he becomes a Derek Jackson menace, we got to call him out.
Yeah, you got to call him out a little bit. He on the beta male list. He on the top of the beta male list. But Proverbs 31:3 in the Bible says, do not spend your strength on women, which ruins kings. It's telling you right now, do not put your energy, your strength in women. And what they do, they get on here every day.
Not in that way anyway.
Yeah, they get on here every day and tell us, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you not worship women?
But Jesus said that there would be people that would use the word in ways that it should not be used, misuse it, I should say.
Yeah.
And this is another example. It's never mind. I can't say certain words on YouTube. Never mind. But this was a great episode. Thank you, brother. I'm glad we could do this.
All right, man.
Enjoy the rest of the
night, bro. And
you too, brother.
Thursday, I'll let you know how it goes.
All right, sounds good, brother. All right, peace.
All right, peace.